is the final question. Are you ready?
I should be.
Okay. Your final question is, or the final question is, if you have the power to do one of the following. Again, if you have the power to do one of the following. Eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why? Do you want me to repeat the question? Again, if you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why?
Thank you so much for that very nice question. Judges, ladies and gentlemen, if I am going to eliminate poverty, yes, it is true that we are the Filipinos or here living in the Philippines is still included in the third world, meaning to say that we are still suffering in poverty. And if I will going to choose the problems with the environment, definitely it will save our Mother Nature. But ladies and gentlemen, among the three choices, I would definitely choose to eradicate graft and corruption, because if graft and corruption will be eradicated, definitely poverty will be removed and the problems with environment will be eradicated also. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as a true Filipino citizen, it is in our hands to decide the future of our own nation. We should never forget that we should not rely on the other people in taking good care of our nation. After all, we are all called true Filipino. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Queen. Candidate number 15.
The question twice. The final question worth the crown and the title is, if you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why? I repeat. If you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the question is, if I would have the power, what will I going to eliminate? Poverty, government without graft and corruption, and environmental issues. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that if I or the thing that I was going to eliminate if I would have the power, that is the government without graft and corruption. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we have a government that doesn't have greedy people in the position, if there is no graft and corruption, then definitely we can resolve poverty and also the environmental issues. Ladies and gentlemen, nalalapit na po ang eleksyon sa susunod na buwan. That is why, or therefore, that we should exercise our right to vote, our right to choose, and our right to decide to vote for the person who is rightful and who can lead us all. The person who has the power, consistency, and willingness to help our whole community. That would be all, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Queen Candidate. So here's the final question. If you have the power to do one thing of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why? Again, I repeat, if you have the power to do one of the following, eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why?
that it's a quite hard question, sir, because I need to choose for those three things. But what we need is to use our common sense and listen to the question itself for us to understand the question. So if I will be given a chance to eliminate the three things, what should I choose? You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that you are the one who will create your own destiny. You are the one who will think to do or to eat whatever you want. You are the person or responsible person for you to be able to eat every day of your life. Secondly, you are the reason to have a good government, like what happened for today. What happened in May, we have the right to choose for the person who are about to sit in the highest position, and that is president, to think who is the person who is not corrupt. Then definitely I rather want to choose to eliminate all the environmental problems. Why should I say so? Because when environment was being polluted so rigorously, everyone has only one question on his, her lips and mind, and that is how to save environment from being polluted. So how we will protect Earth from disaster? I know that the strongly way is through education. Why? Because if we have a proper implementation of environmental knowledge here in the Philippines nor in the whole world, our environment, and we will work hand in hand for us to be able to work hand in hand and turn out the impossible to possible results. Let me think of it. We human beings eat a lot because of environment. And if we about to eat because of environment, then definitely we have the idea to do something good. So we must need to take care for our Mother Earth. Because in the end of the day, having a good moral with our Mother Earth, having a good idea with our Mother Earth, if there's love for our Mother Earth, there's life for all humanity. Thank you.
The time. If you have the power to do one of the following: eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why? I repeat, if you have the power to do one of the following: eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why?
Thank you very much for that very mindful question. Well, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that in democratic countries such as the Republic of the Philippines, it is very important for us to use our rights very effective and efficient. And so that to the given choices on the question, I would choose to eliminate, or I would love to eliminate the government graft and corruption. Why should I say so? Because it will start from the top or in the pyramid. If the problem is in the government, then definitely we should disseminate that problem on the top, and so that the following would follow like a domino effect, and so that the two following choices would follow. Just like if we're going to eliminate the corruption, then definitely the hunger would stop. And if we're going to push that the graft will be stopped in the government, then definitely the environment will be clean. But then again, at the very end of this day, it is not just about the government. It is also because of us, the people, or the Filipino. So that people, let us be mindful and let us be responsible. So that in the presidential election, let us vote wisely and use our vote properly, so that we could unlock the key, so that we could open a new opportunity para sa ating bansang Pilipinas at para sa mga Pilipino.
Here is the final question. If you have the power to do one of the following? Are you going to choose between the three? Okay? Number 1, eliminate poverty and hunger. A government with no graft and corruption. Or solve all environmental problems. Which would you choose and why? Do you want me to read the question again? If you have the power to do one of the following: eliminate poverty and hunger, a government with no graft and corruption, or solve all environmental problems, which would you choose and why?
Wow, that is indeed a tough question. But to be perfectly honest, these issues are very timely and relevant because poverty and starvation is very important that we need to address, especially in this time and age where compassion is at its most peak because of what we learned after the pandemic. And now is the high time to reevaluate our choices, who to elect in our presidential elections. And by this, we should be guided by our moral compass, who we think is a lesser evil and who we think is aligned with our morals and dignity and principles in life as a human being. And it goes hand in hand. This is all these three problems that was said in the questions are correlational. If you elect someone who is competitive, who is worthy of that title as a president, who is able to provide and to help the community and to give back, then whoever will be seated in the presidential seat will be able to help all of us solve these problems. But ultimately, it is not into the hands of whoever that presidential candidate is. It's up to us. It starts in all of us because change starts in all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.